Hello everybody, it is me, Demetra K. I'm sitting here with Donovan throwing rocks and high in his hands Sadiq. And this is another edition of Don't Believe the Hype, where we ask you to go deeper below the surface or deeper than what you're being told by the media, the powers that be, quote unquote, and anybody. Research for yourself before you take it as gospel. And so today we are going to lead off with the very popular topic of Trump's administration family separation policy.
I have put in place a zero tolerance policy for illegal entry on our southwest border. If you cross the border unlawfully, then we will prosecute you. If you are smuggling a child, then we will prosecute you. And that child may be separated from you.
The zero tolerance policy is intended to deter people from breaking the law. Adults. If they are accompanied by a child, that child is temporarily separated from them as they go through a judicial process, and that is no different from a United States citizen parent.
They call it zero tolerance, but a better name for it is zero humanity, and there's zero logic to this policy.
The Democrats gave us the laws. Now, I want the laws to be beautiful, humane, but strong. I don't want bad people coming in. I don't want drugs coming in. And we can solve that problem in one meeting. Tell the Democrats, your friends, to call me.
We should not be using kids as a deterrent policy. This is something I think is actually unacceptable, and it's something that as Americans we shouldn't be doing.
He's got to step in there and he's got to end this thing, because I think it's an atrocious policy. It's inhumane, it's offensive to the average American.
We do not have the luxury of pretending that all individuals coming to this country as a family unit are in fact a family. We have to do our job. We will not apologize for doing for our job. We have sworn to do this job.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and read from my notes because I have a lot to cover here, and then me and Donovan are going to chop it up, all right? Now, in the last couple of weeks, we have been hearing a lot about the Trump administration immigration family separation policy. I know that's a lot to take in, but that's the name of it. Now, specifically, we've heard that families are being torn apart when they are detained for crossing the border illegally. The separation policy states that it is considered a crime to cross the border illegally. Now, with that being said, those who are crossing the border are detained in detention centers. The children are taken to another detention center where they cannot be held because they cannot be held in like a prison type environment, okay? So they're saying that would be immoral.
Yeah, just put them in the hood.
I guess. Okay, so the Trump administration says that the families are reunited between 3 and 7 days and held no longer than 20. Some of the immigrants who cross the borders are looking for political asylum. So when they're detained, they apply for political asylum instead of going back home with their families intact. Therefore, the Trump administration says that it takes longer for those families to be reunited. However, immigrants, objectors, and some politicians have said that the detained children are being mistreated. Some are now calling Trump a child abuser for what his administration is doing to the children. So what are they doing to the children? The Trump administration has been accused of keeping the children in dog-like kennels behind wire fences and making them sleep on mattresses on the floor with thermal-like blankets, among other lackluster conditions. They're also saying that it's upwards of like 75 degrees or so in those, what you call, they're actually abandoned or empty warehouse. Yeah, so empty warehouse Walmart stores or whatever. Okay. Now, people all over the world from all walks of life are asking the Trump administration to end the policy on immigrant family separation. Now, the Trump administration, by way of Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Secretary of Homeland Security Christian Nielsen, insists that people who cross the borders illegally are criminals and should be treated as such with zero tolerance. Many, including former First Ladies Laura Bush and Michelle Obama, are calling the policy inhumane. Now, separation of family by the powers that be in the United States is nothing new. Although none of us were there, Africans were snatched and separated from their families over 400 years ago and throughout the horrid institution of American slavery. It was a very common practice for slave masters to separate the families via the auction block. They, being the white slave masters, never cared about the trauma they were inflicting on the slaves. They, being the white slave owners, didn't care that they were selling/separating a man from his family. They, being the white slave masters, never cared that children whose mothers were sold without warning would be devastated due to her permanent loss. They, being the white slave owners, only cared about making a profit off of the labor of enslaved black people. Now let me ask you all a question, and Donovan, I'll ask you since you're the only one that can answer right now, okay? Who do you think the descendants of the slave owners are? Do you think their descendants were taught to think less of others who are not like them, or less of people who they cannot directly benefit from? So, why are we surprised that over 400 years later, the white folks that are in charge and some that are not are cold-hearted when it comes to the inhumane treatment of immigrants? Now, let's not ever get it twisted. Africans did not sign up for the horrors that they experienced under the white slave master. And for those who might say, well, Africans sold their own people into slavery, miss me with that BS. Even if they did, they would have never sold their people if they knew what kind of evil that awaited them in America. Now, one other thing before I finish. The immigrants are choosing to come over here. They know that the job is dangerous before they make that journey over here. Why would they want to come to a country that would treat them like they treated the slaves in a roundabout way? Now, of course, they're not getting treatment as bad as slaves did back in slavery, but they know what white America, not all, but a lot of white America, powers that be, the men in the White House, government, all those people making the rules, they know what they're capable of. So why would they want to come over here to that? And why don't the immigrants believe that fat meat is greasy? And so, like, I've held my tongue on this.
Okay.
I have, because I've watched everybody and their mama say how horrible it is. And then let me tell y'all something. Before somebody get on here and say, oh, you're a horrible person, I am agreeing with everybody who says that is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. Nobody should ever be treated in that manner. But I would also be remiss if I didn't say I'm not surprised. We're hearing so many hateful things come from people who agree with how those the immigrants, and especially the children, are being treated. I mean, I saw, and I actually took a screenshot of some of the things that predominantly white people were saying about, is a picture actually of a child who's holding on to the fence and he's crying. You've seen it?
Yes, ma'am.
And so this is what people were saying about this baby. Okay? Like I said, it was probably 99% white people saying these things about this poor baby. Now, some of the comments says, yes, I'm 100% okay with it. I hope he lets me know if he needs help rounding him up. And I guess they're speaking about Trump. Okay. And then one guy says, F no, this is horrible. Why aren't those cages electric shock so that they can to shock that border hopper? Mm-hmm. So various comments like that in regards to this child who has been obviously separated from his mother, mm-hmm. and he's crying, probably wanting to know where she is. What am I doing here? And then you have people saying stuff like, look at this little monkey in the zoo. Yeah, I do. What's that thing doing without a muzzle? That kind of stuff. And so, and as you can see, Donovan, most of these profile pictures, these are white people saying this stuff.
Okay.
And so, again, why are we shocked? Why are we shocked that those people feel nothing about putting another little human being in a cage, separating it from his mother? I'm not shocked at all.
Can I chime in?
Yes, you can, because I got a lot to say.
Yeah, and this is just something I just want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny how they're shocked and they're desensitized by that? But you take a so-called millionaire, Paul Manafort, and you put him in jail.
Oh God!
Outrageous! How dare! And what's this guy? Alan Dershowitz.
Mm-hmm.
He said that on CNN. I don't know if anybody caught it, but on CNN he had said that it is not right that Paul Manafort be put in jail with common people, criminals, and people that probably couldn't even make bail. That's the only reason they're in jail, for minor offenses. But how dare you put a guy like Paul Manafort in a jail?
Well, what's a guy like Paul Manafort? I mean, what is he? He's a white guy.
He's a white guy. Wears nice $3,000 suits.
Right.
He's probably turncoat on his own country, but we still got to protect his right to be rich.
And to your point, which is an awesome point, is that we got to try to get into the mind of the people who think it's a horrible thing that this good white man, quote unquote, is being locked up.
Who might have been a traitor to his country.
Right, but he's still a good white man.
Still good white.
Still a good white man. But they don't see these people who are these babies, I should call them, are being locked up. They don't see them as human, but you got to get into their minds, because like I said, if you take it back to the institution of slavery, they never did and still don't think that black people are human.
Okay.
Look at the treatment that we go through, and so here we are shocked. And then let's not ever forget, as I said in my notes, the people that we are dealing with in 2018 are the descendants of the people who thought that slavery was a good idea.
Right. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate for you. You people need to get over the slavery thing. Were you ever a slave?
I was not a slave.
So what's your beef?
My beef
I need you to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps like I did.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. You didn't pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
What?
We pulled you up by the bootstraps, and all that money that you sitting on, your high horse trying to cast aspersions down on me, was made possible by my people. So I ain't gonna get over until you get over and hand me some money.
Okay, well,
hand me some of that good old cotton picking money.
I would
my
like to do that. I would like to do that.
However,
but it's almost impossible to decipher who was a slave and who wasn't.
Okay, really?
And then
I know that
we've already given you Negroes millions of dollars in welfare and recipients, and you niggas still haven't done nothing.
Really? Oh, you gave me a whole $430-something a month, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, I should.
Yes, and I see you walking around with $400 weaves in your head, gas cigarettes, and all kinds of stuff. Mercedes with big old rims, a Cutlass with big old rims, sitting in front of the projects.
So what you're telling me is that you, who have not worked for nothing, is better than me, who allegedly have not worked for nothing? How you get off?
Wait. What you mean I haven't worked for nothing?
All this you see, all
wait. Do not blame me, because my father and my mother, who came to this country in 1920 from Sweden, they worked hard.
To do what? Where do they work hard at?
At the bank. It's hard to come in here and start at vice president level.
Really?
It is.
Well, tell them to go to the sharecropping plantation and work at picking cotton.
No, we're not going to do that.
Now that's hard.
No, we understand that.
Tell them to go to the plantation to be a sharecropper, to think that you can to purchase a land that you are never ever going to pay off. In fact, you're not even going to pay it off. You're going to be in default, and because you're in default, the man is going to trip you up and lock your black ass up.
Okay, what you don't forget, this is America. Nobody could make you stay there. If it ain't working out for you, go try something else.
Okay, I would just like to say this. I wanted you to think about that before you put my ancestors on the Middle Passage and brought our black asses over
I
here.
had nothing to do with that. We're talking about now in the 21st
Don't tell me to
century.
go back home when I never wanted to come over here in the first
Well,
place.
then go back home then.
Write me my 40 acres in my Tesla and I'm out.
I can't do it. You can't do it.
You don't want me to.
No, because we don't know if you're a descendant of a slave.
Do you think that my last name is what my last is an African last name? Is your last name an African last name?
Well, it's Arabic actually, but
it's what?
It's Arabic.
No, we ain't talking about the one you changed.
Oh, Smith. You mean my name Smith?
Well,
you know my Smith and my Jackson and
we ain't talking about the one you changed it to.
The Malloy, the good old Irish.
Yeah, is your black ass Irish?
You ever heard of a black Irishman?
I know that my last name was of German descent.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't come from Africa.
See, so you're one of us. So why are you?
I doubt it.
What's the big?
Well, that was the name that was given to my peoples by the slave master.
And if it wasn't for us, you guys would still be over there in South Africa, booty scratching and continent corruption. We saved you. You should be thankful. The little crumbs we give you.
Saved us to come over here to a life of horror, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What was I thinking?
But you know, in all seriousness, no. But this is the madness and the arguments you would get in a conversation with that. Now, I'm going to say this in all seriousness because a lot of people have been talking about this all weekend. And if you guys have been noticing, if you listen to Dee's show, which comes on at 3 p.m., I hate to keep saying this. I hate it to the core of my being. She has been correct.
Not always,
but most of the time,
Like 99.9%.
Right, 0.6. Every time there is an issue with another culture or another group, let's say the LGBT, we got to fight for them. Oh, we got now a lot of people are like, oh, we got to. Somebody came up to me and he said, oh, Donovan, what's your opinion on the horror that's happening to those Mexican people? I said, first of all, they're El Salvadorians. They're not really Mexican, but I understand what you're saying with that. But I said, wow, that's very tragic. And I said, it's unfortunate. However, they can solve their problems. We need to solve our problems. And that's my stance.
But then you look at most, if not all, of the black politicians. They have been talking about this nonstop.
And religious leaders.
Yes, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I ain't seen none of those people talk constantly about the things that go on in the black community.
And what I don't understand is Kamala Harris. She's been in the forefront as a senator.
She's doing it for a photo op.
Yeah, it's for a photo op. But these people cannot vote for her. She does not represent these people.
Grasshopper. You got to look up the line.
Oh no, I understand where she's going with it. Because the more, how do you let illegal people come into the country? They're not here legally, but they can get driver's licenses.
Well, okay, but to the point that you brought up, because I think it would be a huge mistake for us to not address the issue. Listen, nobody believes that America belonged to Indians and Hispanic people before it belonged to white people. Hell, we know white people have stolen a whole lot of stuff from everybody. Okay, but currently, under this in the state that we live in, or the country rather we live in, it is illegal to cross the border.
Just like if you went to Mexico, try crossing the border illegally into Mexico and see what happens to you.
And so, to me, I'm just on the fence with it because it's like, okay, we have these people and a lot of these lawmakers, quote unquote, who are saying, oh, it's so horrible what's going on with these people, but y'all are not saying, listen, people, don't try to circumvent the process. Come over here the right way, whatever that is. Okay? They got these bleeding hearts, but let you and me break the damn law. See how many of those people gonna go over there.
And here's what I don't understand, and this is why, trust me, I am empathetic. I do feel for the children and all that other stuff. But again, I'm not going to take my child and go somewhere illegally because here's my thing. They've been talking, if you like Trump or you hate Trump, they've been warning you for months that if you do this, this is what's going to happen. So they were given warnings.
That's why I said, don't you believe fat meat is greasy?
Right.
I mean, y'all. I mean, to your point, you've had this warning. How many times do you need to see and read about people being detained and I can't find my child, and then y'all keep coming on.
Jeff Sessions was down there in San Diego at the piece of the wall that they were building, whatever, and he said, if you come over here, I'm not saying you're not you're not fleeing persecution and stuff. He said, if you come over here illegally, this is what we're going to do. What about that? Don't you understand?
I mean, and to me, I think that's what we're not dealing with, and so. When you have these politicians, these so-called lawmakers, advocating on behalf of, let's call it what it is, lawbreakers. I don't want to necessarily call them illegal aliens, because I think that's very derogatory, but lawbreakers, that says to the other ones, well, shoot, let me try to go along. We're going to have all these people in high places advocating for it, but like I said, let me and you go jaywalk.
Right.
Or get caught with some weed we ain't supposed to have. How many of those people gonna be at our jail cell talking about, oh, well, this is wrong?
And I want everybody to understand this too. And and this is why the show is called Don't Believe the Hype. We want you guys to start thinking about what is being said. Don't believe this. We all know Trump's a liar. The guy's going to be heading to jail after his term is up or whatever. He doesn't resign before that.
Fake news.
Here's the thing. If the economy is at an all-time high and unemployment is at an all-time low, these people are not coming here to steal your job. Because obviously, there's jobs for everybody. But you see what I'm saying?
Right.
We know it's part-time job, but what I'm saying is don't believe the hype. You can't say this and then say, oh yeah, well, they're coming here to steal your job. Unemployment's at an all-time low. So what's the problem?
Well, and that's the lie they've been telling forever. Yeah. They, being white people, been telling the lie that all them illegals, quote-unquote, are coming to steal your job. What jobs are they coming to steal? What exactly? What are they busting into IBM, being the CEO? I mean, what jobs are they? And it's been debunked a million times. The jobs that they are coming to steal, quote unquote, are the jobs that no white person with no job would do.
Right. And here in California, we are a border state. We have a big problem with illegal immigration right in the city that we're broadcasting from right now. Orange County, there's a little field there where they have strawberries and stuff by El Toro in Orange County. You don't see black people out in the fields picking that. You won't see white people out in the fields. They depend on migrant workers to come in seasonally and get that.
Right. So are those jobs they talking about people coming to steal?
Right, exactly. So don't believe the hype in that. Listen to what they're saying, and it's just a fallacy. It's just a fallacy. But again, to your point, you present yourself at the border, let them make a decision. I don't see why you have to incarcerate children and pull them from their parents.
Well, because their justification, not mine.
No, I understand why.
It's a criminal act, and those people are going to be detained criminally, and they don't want to put children in a criminal facility.
Right. And I understand that, but I think it's a little unnecessary. I mean, Trump can stop it. Agree. Trump can stop it if he wants to, but then again, notice that if what Trump is doing such an outrage, where are all the Hispanic and black politicians?
I thought you were going to say the Christians.
Well, I was going to get on them too.
Yeah.
Where's the outrage in them saying stop that? Because the president could only enforce the law, repeal the law.
Right. Well, a lot of them actually are saying this is wrong and don't do it and this, that, and the other.
But isn't it funny how quickly they deal with other racist problems? When it comes to the black person, they're shooting police down in the streets. No legislation.
Right. Or when they tell these black politicians to denounce Farrakhan, they do it within a drop of a dime. I denounce. I don't believe in this hateful rhetoric. But it's like, okay, Farrakhan has been trying to help black people for over 60 years, but yet the white man tell you what you should do, and then you to denounce him and you do it, but you find out some Hispanic kids are getting locked up in a cage. You tell your ass.
Right.
My friend's mom say that. You tell your ass to go be seen talking about how horrible this situation is. So to your point, is like, y'all rarely speak up on the behalf of black people. If you do, it's a blip.
Auntie Maxine, haven't heard a word from her.
Yeah, where has she been? Maybe she's on vacation.
When you're a servant of the people, there is no vacation.
Well, maybe she figures there's enough Negroes out there advocating for for the separation,
for those
separated families.
Right. For those of us that are old enough to remember this young Cuban kid named Ilan Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
This is a similar situation in where the government came in and they his father was in Cuba, wanted him back, and they forced the United States government to extradite the boy back to his father in Cuba.
Well, because they crossed over here illegally.
Right.
His mom died in the process.
Right, in the process.
Right.
And his father wanted him back in Cuba.
Right.
And it was funny how the white people were like, oh no, he needs to stay here.
All these bleeding hearts.
Little brown little.
Right. But now we need to electrocute the cages and all this other stuff. I just
and the argument of, well, it ain't like they're in jail, they're in a Holiday Inn. It doesn't matter. Okay, everybody knows I'm an animal lover. If you take an animal out of the animal shelter and you bring them to your home, and all that animal ever sees is your home, you haven't done that animal any favor.
Right.
You've locked him up in another facility.
Right. True.
It's just, it's a nicer environment.
Right.
But the animal is still locked up.
Right.
Thus, I take my dog for a walk every day to get out and get new smells and meet new people.
But to your point about the dog, not to try to tie the people into the correlate them with the dogs, but those very same people who are advocating for those children to be locked up, you lock a dog up like that and see what happens.
Exactly.
Michael Vick ain't gonna never walk down the street without a white person hurling something at him, ever. But yet it's okay to lock people up like that. And so I just
no, not people. Okay, these aren't people. Because if that was a white person, it would be outrageous.
Right. Well,
let's just be real. I know people right now.
White people ain't gonna lock their own people.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Let's be real about it. If this was a bunch of kids from Canada coming down here, crossing the border, which they don't ever talk about making a wall up north. They never talk about that. It doesn't take a genius to say, well, if I can't get in through the south, I'll just come around.
Okay, but let's take that scenario to somewhere else.
Okay.
Remember, I can't think of the little white boy's name, but he went to Thailand or some country, and he spray painted along with Singapore. He spray painted with all the other kids over there, and they was about to cane his butt. Oh my God!
I think they came down. I think it was like 12 canes, but they got it down to 4.
Right, which are still, and the people were just, America just lost their mind. This is horrible. How could they do this to me? He didn't mean it. But it's like, okay, but he went over there and broke a crime or broke a law.
And they told you.
They didn't treat him no differently than they. Matter of fact, the dude that did the spray paint with him got more lashes.
He got more lashes, and he was a national there.
Right, and so it's like, but y'all don't have no compassion for the people who come over here and break laws. But in the Ottawa beer, the guy in Korea, wherever he was, stole the flag and ended up dying over there. Oh, it's horrible. We should boycott.
See, and that's the thing. As you guys know, I recently came back from Vietnam, and I was in Thailand myself. And
you didn't steal nothing?
No, I didn't steal nothing.
You didn't break no laws?
I didn't break no laws because I have respect for other people's stuff in their country. But I was a witness myself. When they talk about that ugly American thing that you hear about, people say, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Go to these countries and see how the Westerners act, and you will see it for yourself. If you were in, these people were foreigners in your country, and you're seeing how they're acting, you wouldn't want them there either.
And think about the difference in how Leandro Ball.
Oh yeah, Leandro, yeah.
The one brother, the Ball brother, anyway,
the middle brother,
that went over there into China and they stole the glasses. And if you went on some of these posts about it, these white people, well, that's what he should get. He should know, go to another country and break a law. But not even a year before that, Oliver Beer or whatever his name is, he died in jail. And people white people lost their ever minds. That he was treated, it was just a flag. Oh, he didn't mean anything. Y'all explain away some stupid shit. You really do.
Yeah, when I was in Vietnam and some of the
I said I wasn't cussing no.
Yeah, when I was in some of the tourist areas, you're talking about white girl drunk. These girls were falling out in the street. I'm talking about they acted like they owned the place. I'm talking about rude, disrespectful. The white men are over there dating the children. I mean, they treat these people as if they are not people.
And then they get mad when they go up to somebody else's country and
they enforce the rules on them.
Right. And then it's like, oh, why me?
right? And then if you think about these politicians, like going into Mexico, how come if it's successful, nobody wants to go to a Mexican jail. Everybody knows that. You don't want to go to a Mexican jail.
Understand, right?
But if we had our justice system, our recidivism system,
recidivism rate,
would go down.
Right.
So why aren't these politicians talking about what do we need to do to stop people from going back to jail? Maybe make it horrible.
They don't want to stop people necessarily from going to jail. They want to stop white people from going to jail.
Right.
They want your black ass in jail. Okay?
Right. Because they make money off
Absolutely. There's money in the penal system.
Oh, not enough space. Okay. So,
I should say penal, not
penile. I think your mind's on something else.
No.
Well, you're listening. Her mind is somewhere else. But it's just sad that we're in a situation now. And when people were coming up to me this week and talking about that, I'm just looking at them. I wasn't looking at them horrifiedly, but I kind of was. I'm thinking, you're so quick to help other people, which is a good trait to be, but you got to help yourself first.
I think when black people realize what you just said, we are going to go miles and miles and miles, a lot faster. But we're always, and Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that, we allow ourselves to get lumped in with minorities. Oh, I'm a minority. I need this because I'm a minority. Okay, but do you know exactly what that means? That means, like you said, I'm lumped in with, like as you said, lesbians, or LGBT, and all these other people, women, Hispanics, and he says midgets, humpbacks, whoever else.
Whatever.
Right,
Yeah,
we are classified, and then black people's issues never get dealt with because everybody else is, oh, what about me? I'm a minority too.
And especially our issues never get dealt with by our black leaders, because a black leader get to the top, and like I said, I'm not an Obama basher, but let's just call it the way it is. This man was president of the United States for 8 years, and he did not do one overt thing for black people. Everything he did included the group.
Well, in the Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, he talks about that, and that a lot of our black so-called leaders, they get to the top, but they don't get to the top. Some of them get to the top by hard work, but a lot of them are handpicked.
Yeah, they're handpicked.
By white people, the establishment, and so once they get there, their job is to quell the rest of the black people and to preach from what the talking points that they're getting to the rest of the black people, and that's why. And this book was written in the 1920s, and it reads almost as if we're talking about 2018. We are no better off than when he was talking about those things, and he also talked about how we don't need any more black leaders. Again, this is the 1920s. We need people who want to work. We need workers, because he's saying a lot of talking and preaching and all that stuff. That's just what it is. But we need boots on the ground. But you have a lot of black leaders like, choose me, I'll go in. But like we think about an organization like Black Lives Matter, and this is what the book was talking about too. It says, you always have these white powers that be. They're so eager to help uplift black people by way of the NAACP and Black Lives Matter. And Malcolm X talked about that too. You should be very leery of a white person who wants to be at the helm of these organizations or wants to give so much money. Well, why? Why do you want to do that? What's in it for you? Of course, if you're, what George Soros gave $33 million to Black Lives Matter, why are you giving that kind of money?
And he also gave a bunch of money to Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's what he is. He's a Democrat financier, He's a puppet master is what he is. And so, we should we don't have black leadership. And then the book talks about that too, as far as black leadership. You notice every faction of black leadership you have, they're always fighting with each other.
Yes.
Oh, I know you said that, you're on the red side, but you should be on the black side because the black side is just with the red side. And they're always, even today, you have your Boyce Watkins, you have your Umar Johnsons, and your Tyreek Nasheeds, and these so-called.
Cornel West.
All these people, they're fighting with each other. They don't agree on anything. But yet they call themselves helping black people. And so you just have to ask yourself, well, why am I following you if you don't agree with him, you don't agree with her, none of y'all, and there's just like this big hustle.
Well, it's the same thing in local politics in general. NAACP will tell you in the 41st District here in California to support a gay Asian man over a black woman.
Well, I called you last night because they had a meeting, but you didn't answer.
Oh yeah, no, I was out for the count, so and it was my day. So.
Got it.
So what was the meeting about? Did you go?
No, I didn't go.
Okay, yeah.
It was they had some artist or somebody.
Oh yeah,
so
I'm not gonna waste my time with the NAACP because it's obvious, at least here in California. I can't speak for all the chapters of the NAACP, but in general, the chapter here is controlled by a lady who marched in the 1950s, and she was down for Martin Luther King, and she will put her members on a broken down ass bus while she flies to the Capitol to give us a piece of paper to present to the representatives, and you know, have the nerve to have these other black feminists tell men to stay in their place or be quiet or whatever the deal is. So we have a significant problem in the NAACP.
You know you're going to get a whooping, right?
Oh, well,
you
like I said,
a whooping.
my aunt is a member of that chapter, which is totally fine too, but I'm calling it the way it is. You can't say what I'm saying is wrong. That was the worst experience of my life.
It's funny because I was telling Al about it.
It was the worst experience
I said,
of my life.
Donovan said I might be flying back. I'm like, you might be flying me back with you.
Yes.
Okay.
It was the worst experience of my life. How are you going to tell a grown person to be quiet in the state capitol? I pay taxes, just like anybody else.
That happened a couple times. I'm talking about when y'all was sitting at the table, you and that dude was talking.
Yeah, we're talking, having a good conversation.
She says, you.
Yes.
And you. You have been talking this whole time. And this is like in front of 200 people or so.
And then what? Then what was sad? There's nothing worse than some old hoes running to go see Willie Brown in the lobby.
Too far.
No, that's not too far. No, that's not too far because that's exactly what happened. I saw Willie Brown in the lobby. I said, hey, how you doing? I went about my business. But the minute that they heard Willie Brown was in the lobby, their panties
too far, brother.
got pulled up and they ran out of the
That's
meeting.
a little too far.
But it was the truth. It was the truth.
You did not call those lady old hoes.
Oh, there's nothing worse than seeing some old hoes present themselves as groupies to a corrupted Democratic operative. There's nothing worse than that. And that's my take on that.
Listen, Auntie, I cannot be guilty by, so I will not be guilty by association.
The words and opinions expressed is that of the person talking.
His alone, okay?
So, but no, the NAACP, for those of you guys, like I said, don't believe the hype. There's something wrong when an organization that's supposed to be for black people is telling you to vote against another black candidate, and that's wrong,
well,
in my opinion.
And let's talk about that for a little bit too, because I was having this conversation with my brother who is very on the right, okay? He is a Republican.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it, but he's a Republican.
He's still a brother. He's still a brother.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Still a brother.
So, but we were talking, because traditionally I have been a Democrat. I'm not anymore. I'm nonpartisan.
You woke up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you woke
up. Yeah, when you wake up, you just see the light. But to your point about, the Democrats and black people, they have lullabied us to sleep for ever since we switched over.
Yeah, since the 1930s, late 1930s.
And I don't think we understand. I don't think we understand why we were being used. We were being used. FDR did not. He enacted the New Deal things and stuff like that.
There's a little bit more opportunity.
But it was only to sway us over.
Right.
It wasn't because they
for
really
votes.
Right, because during that time, black people couldn't give anything. And it was actually through his wife that said, hey, we need to start doing something for black people. I mean, he didn't even want to be in the same room with black people. Didn't want to take none of that kind of stuff.
And like I said, don't believe the hype, you guys. Listen to this. In the 1960s, when Martin Luther King was protesting and doing all that great civil rights stuff, you had CORE and the Urban League, and I marched with Martin Luther King and all that great stuff, right? Who was opposing Martin Luther King's agenda? It wasn't the Republicans, it was Democrats.
Right.
It was Democrats that were doing that.
But I also, this is the argument that I had with my brother too. We had a pretty good conversation, and I said this. You know, because he mentioned Candace Owens, the chick, the black chick from CRTV or something like that, and that she has a lot of good talking points. I said, yeah, she has a lot of good talking points, but they only stop at the points because her points are not rooted in anything factual, educational or factual. Like to pull yourself up by the bootstrap people. I said, well, it's not just that black people don't want to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. I say, you think about something in the 1920s when Black Wall Street was going on. Black people were very upwardly mobile. We had our own thing together.
Absolutely.
And I said, who was it that was tearing us down then? Was it the Republicans? Was it black people? I mean, it was white. I mean, Republicans or Democrats. There's white people on both sides making sure that Black Wall Street or any of the other predominantly black towns failed. So it's not like it was just the Democrats. It was Republicans. It was everybody who was white that did not want to see black people succeed were doing that. And so I think it's a mistake to tell black people just pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Yeah, it is.
Even in 2018, we have systemic and institutional racism that is very blatant now.
And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you know, the Republicans are, you know, for the rich and all this other stuff. You got to remember, in the 60s when Johnson signed that legislation, that switched a lot of the Dixiecrats. These are the people that were opposing a lot of what Dr. Martin Luther King was doing. And they became Republicans. And that's where we're at today. These parties switch. And basically, they're not even switching. The game is, it's one coin with two sides. The same coin.
And if the Democrats are for the poor people, how come the Democrats that are in power aren't poor?
Exactly.
Why are they just as rich as any Republican leader?
Right. And ask yourself this. Bernie Sanders, he is probably one of the poorest.
Yeah, they say he is.
Independent person. And why are both parties so scared of him? Because he's waking people up and saying, wait a minute. In this country, you need more than two parties. But see, these two parties will not let other parties rise, because then if another party rises, the jig is up for them.
I liken the Republicans and the Democrats to the district attorney and the public defender, especially when it comes to black people. They don't give a damn about you.
They sit down and say, hey, give me 10 years and have them cop the plea, and we'll just take the 10.
Right, exactly.
So.
And we both win.
Yeah, everybody wins. Everybody's
except
happy.
for your black ass.
Exactly. Exactly. But we're going to be back. It's political season here in the local neighborhood. In our next segment, we're going to be talking about local politics and what's going on in the Inland Empire. Very, very strategic stuff is about to happen. A lot of news is coming, so I want you guys to tune in to the second part. We're going to go into that, but before we do, Demetra K Show is on Sundays, 3 p.m. consistently. It is an open live format show. It's live on Facebook, Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. It was Father's Day.
So I gave y'all fellas a break.
You gave us a break.
In my mouth.
Thank you. Did you happen to call my father-in-law? And
I did. I was actually up there the day before, and we hung out, and I called him. I chilled.
Did you enjoy your company? So you were like, girl, you messing my group up. I got old.
Right.
Over at 5.
Right. I had to get up out of there. Yeah.
So, for me, Father's Day, an old friend of mine's oldest daughter came and saw the old soldier, and I remember this girl when she was a little tiny thing with the big old buggy eyes, and now she's almost 27 years old.
Damn.
I couldn't believe that.
Almost as old as me.
Close. Another 4 or 5 years.
Another 20 years.
Yeah, 20. But you know, it kind of made me think of how old we actually are getting.
Yes, the rabbit is getting old.
Yeah,
the rabbit is getting old.
You didn't marry me from a cooking.
Right.
So, and then today, before we went on air, I just saw a picture of my baby, and that's exactly why this summer is going to be a blessing for me. It's going to be a blessing. That girl is a monster. I mean, I'm telling you. Who knew?
That's why they say you never, you don't know who you turning away, brother.
Exactly.
That old skinny thing in high school.
I didn't want Katina.
Cartina?
I didn't want Cartina. I mean, she was cool, but she was too much of an athlete for me. How's she going to have time for me? She playing sports all semester.
Just wait for it.
No, I can't. I can wait.
You
No.
wait for her to blossom.
No. Like I said, woo, your sister.
Lord,
Yes.
Lord.
And again, the funniest thing is she was the very first person I met at Norte Vista. So as I was sitting on the quad,
bugaboo, huh?
mad, yeah, sitting mad. She's like, "Hey," I was like, "Why are you talking to me?" Freshman. But anyway, she's very, very friendly chick, and like I said, who knew?
Who knew?
And was she gonna be here when?
Sometime in the summer.
I need some dates so
I'll find out for sure, brother.
So I can block my time.
I will find out for sure.
And we won't be doing any shows out here.
I'll be sitting here by myself.
Right. You know, if you hear
saying so.
Yeah, if you hear any knocking, it's gonna be one of those things. But
oh hell no.
all I need is 15 minutes.
That's all. That sounds like that might be too much.
Okay, 5. I'll be real. I'll be so excited.
I mean, what y'all gonna do? Talk this verse? Never mind. Never mind.
No, we ain't gonna talk at all. First thing is get them clothes
Let me drink my crack egg.
No, Dee's gonna be there at 3 p.m. Sundays. You guys check it in. What are you guys talking about this week?
We never know. It's early. Something might jump off. I mean, we might continue talking about the whole immigration thing. There's a lot of things actually. So I did make a video about the Waffle House.
Yes, and I want to talk to you about that real quick before we go into the next segment. My brother single-handedly saved the Waffle House because he used to patronize that thing every day.
Why? What is that? Have you eaten at the Waffle House?
I've eaten at the Waffle House.
Do you like it?
It's alright. It's not.
That's
It ain't all that, but okay.
And yeah, it just ain't all that for me to keep going. And I know my people getting brutalized. The police calls on.
Right.
Make my waffles at home.
Right, and again, have you guys been paying attention to the stock market? Trump is. Here's what I don't understand.
It's about to tank. What, 250?
Well, it's going to tank. How does a failed businessman? Why do people follow somebody who's failed? Like he's an expert at what he's doing. He's failed at everything he's done. And he starts this trade war that's going to cost us money. But the guy's a failed businessman. You think that what he's saying is great.
Well,
and now the stock is starting to fail. And the truth of the matter is, and you look at history, every president that had a business acumen, a recession either followed them or they completely failed in their presidency because they don't know what they're doing. So you guys be aware, and I would strongly recommend get your stocks and watch it closely because this guy's going to tank the economy.
Put your money in the mattress.
Yeah, he's going to tank the economy. But we're going to go in the second hour. We're going to talk about local politics, you guys. Stand by. We're going to be back in 2 + 2. Isn't that left connection?
Chuck Woolery.
Chuck Woolery.
2 and 2.
2 and 2.